Happy Pride Month, everyone! We just wanted to tell you that your orientation, gender, or preference, it doesn't matter. You are loved and accepted here, and we love each and every one of you, regardless of who or what you go by. So, happy Pride Month. We love you all. Welcome to season 2
of the Unwind podcast.
It's Vidhi
And Shreeya.
and this season, we're going to be talking about different topics and we're going to be having different segments as compared to our first season. So stay tuned for the changes. Shreya's just going to start off by talking about some world issues that have happened in the past 6 to 8 months when we've been on a break.
Absolutely. A long break it's been, and we have decided to have more formal conversations and change it up. I think a really prominent issue that's taken place and that we would really like to discuss this season is about the Black Lives Matter, because it's not just a racial movement and something that we want to propagate in our conceptual and fundamental thoughts behind how mental health and equality can really play a big place in removing stigmas and growing a healthier community to live and sustain in. And overall, I think what we aim to do throughout this season is to talk about mental health awareness and its importance, talk about what's happening globally in the United States, what's happening in India currently, bring in elements of the pandemic, and of course have a little bit of the medical perspective as well to help reduce the pressure and the negative thought process that we're continuing to build in ourselves. I think we're going to work on building a source of treatment for everybody out there and also helping to propagate certain important messages politically, medically, and in all sorts of ways to help a healthier lifestyle for all of you and for us as well.
I feel like since we haven't disclosed this yet, this season, our main focus is going to be on mental health, since we're both very avid believers that mental health is equally as important as physical health, if not more so in some cases. Bringing up the Black Lives Matter movement, seeing that really kind of, sparked globally last year during the pandemic when everything was shutting down, it gave us a sense of something that's bigger than us going on such a global scale, and how there's a lot of prejudice and a lot of systemic racism that's there. That's not only in one country, it's global. No country is perfect or subjected away from certain issues. Each episode we're going to have like a 5-minute kind of what's going on in the world, and then we'll be having different guests. Our guests this time are probably not going to be people you might be aware of, but they are very prominent figures in the mental health community. There's going to be doctors, different activists who talk about mental health and just to educate our community and put forward the different stigmas and everything and kind of debunk the myths. And I feel like this is especially important since as much as people want to wish that corona is gone, it's still there, especially in India. The cases are still there. It's pretty bad. And I feel like a lot of us were getting better when the second wave was kind of dying down and we thought everything was returning back to normal. Shreya and I started going back to school as well in between physically. We went back to school briefly since we were in 10th grade. So it got worse again. So school got shut and we had to do our finals online, which is kind of why we've been missing.
I also think that it's important to discuss why we've suddenly taken a turn in terms of our content that we're going to put out. When a lot of people listened to our podcast, it was pure entertainment. Of course, we talked about important issues that people could relate to, but I think staying at home and being within the pandemic, it's just made us realize that the world's changing really fast. And that accounts for how people in their spaces and how their environments are also changing. And I think it's become a serious point of concern where it's important to talk about how keeping ourselves sane in this time is so very important, because we don't know what's happening next. Uncertainty is taking a big toll on the world, how people sort of react to situations. And I think that it's important to talk about issues like this with our audience, because it is stemming to be a huge point of concern for everybody. Everyone's going through the same things and everyone needs to be on the same page and sustain a healthier lifestyle, being mentally healthy. And of course, people can do they can maintain their physical health, but I think mental health is something that you sometimes really do need to reach out to get some help in. And as much as we can do as individuals to have a free platform for all of you to reach out to, and we're trying our best to simply provide that.
I feel like in the pandemic, I've read a bunch of studies, there's been a definite boom in the number of mental health disorders or issues that people are facing, not only because we've been isolated and humans are social animals. So reducing ourselves from social interactions is definitely taking a toll on a lot of people. And just not being able to go out at all or do your basic activities that you're so accustomed to is very hard.
Yeah.
And we just want to promote a healthier environment.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Vidhi, and I completely agree with that. I remember, so there's a lot that goes on with you when you're doing your boards, right? You have this pressure, even if they're at home, there's still this pressure to do well, right? On the same day, I got the news that my editor for the book that I'm writing, that I'm in the process of writing, has passed away. This is the circle of life. The day that I'm actually sitting down for my English paper and someone that's helped me improve my language skills in a way, right? Although he's not helped me directly in my IB English, but he's helped me write a book, and that's really helped me to build perspective. And suddenly he's gone. He's gone in minutes. All it took was a WhatsApp message from his daughter telling me that he's done and he's gone. And because of multiple organ failure, COVID, a lot of issues. And it's weird to see people going. I want to talk about mental health because my parents tried so hard to pep me up for the exam. They were like, don't think about this. I just couldn't. I walked into the exam thinking about this and solely thinking about this. We have people around us dying, and I know each of us might have 2 or 3 people around us, but there are going to be people out there who have multiple people, families, like direct families around them that are literally passing away or that are suffering in hospitals right now. And I think it's really important to talk about this so we can all unite.
I remember you told me this after an English exam. Shreya called me up, and obviously I was also kind of shocked. I didn't know your editor on a personal level, so I can only imagine how disorienting that was right before like your final English exam. I applaud you for going through with it, like it's a hard thing to do. And I feel like compartmentalization is also such a big thing that's coming around. Since COVID, we obviously know the death numbers, the mortality rates and everything are going up. You feel like you're protected in a bubble until it hits someone and then that's when you realize it's real. It's affecting you in a way which you're not sure. For me, I feel like the first death that you're around, like someone is actually like the most, like it just hits you the hardest. The first death always hits you the hardest because the whole cycle of grief, the stages of grief and everything, it's hard.
And to know that you're losing them because of COVID is,
you can't even like have like a proper funeral. Like here at least you can't even open the bodies, you can't see them. Cremation happens for like no family members or like limited family members. You can't open the sealed bags which they're in. It's really hard, the things the families go through.
And I was reading this book. They had predicted, so this is a book written in 2015. They had predicted in the next 5 years there's going to be a respiratory or a lung disease. Basically, we listened to economists going back in 2014, 2015. Nobody had known that this was coming our way. Cutting down 5 years before this happened to us, 2019 it hit the world. So let's say about 2014, 15, there were books, there were people that warned us that this is something that you're expecting in the coming 5 years. And it just never seemed to hit anybody. Forget the political system, forget the healthcare system. It didn't hit normal people. And with the situation in India, it is so sad.
It's really bad.
Yeah, I remember when this was happening to United States, when the first wave had hit us. India was still doing decently well, although the death rates, everything was on a rise, but it wasn't as bad as the United States. And I remember I had family back home in the United States, and I was like, oh, okay, well, it's really sad. I hope you guys stay safe. But I was never able to be like, oh, it's Corona, this big of a deal, and it's coming on the news every day. Once you don't experience the pain or the grief in a certain way, through death or through a scary experience of someone going to an ICU, being on a ventilator, any of these experiences, you don't understand the magnitude of this virus.
Like when it first came around in like January 2020 or like February, when we first got to know about it, like we all thought, oh, it's just like if these are in like China or the US, like it's not gonna affect us or anywhere, like we're fine. Like, oh, that's so sad for them. Then school shut, and then we thought, oh, 2 weeks we're gonna be back. It's just like a minor thing. Fast forward a year, we're still stuck
in the same place, in the same four walls, with the same people.
It's exhausting. Like obviously we're privileged enough to have enough food and to keep us healthy and like keep us shelter when people obviously don't have that right now in this situation. It's hard on everyone. People don't wear masks, piece of cloth or two pieces of cloth that are going over your mouth and your nose to protect not only you but the people around you as well. We have vaccine shortages as well.
Yeah, it would be interesting to put down a clipping. So what I love to do is, when I was younger, we used to drive in the car, and you have like these radio stations, correct? And there's this really famous radio station in India. It's called Radio Mirchi. What they do is they prank call out of humor, like nothing else, just so that they can bring humor to your car ride or to your drive. And recently, because of the pandemic, what they're starting to do is they're starting to spread awareness about it. So I was looking at a video where they were prank calling different people around the Indian community, I think in Mumbai and Delhi especially, and they were just calling up random people that they got to know that they're not getting vaccinated, and they called up people and they simply asked, have you gotten vaccinated, ma'am? Like, it was a prank call, right? So they were putting up themselves as characters, and they showed me particularly how scared people are to get vaccinated. Imagine people doing as much as they can, governments, the Serum Institute, doing everything they can to provide vaccinations, but that's still happening. I mean, it wakes you up from your day-to-day living and be like, okay, this is the situation, this is what people are thinking, and this is the future.
I feel like we can't really say much more because like we can read about it in the news, we can talk about it with each other, but at the end of the day, you're only responsible for your actions.
Absolutely.
You can't take accountability for anyone like around you. Like if your friend chooses to not wear a mask, you can say as much as you want, you can try to get them to do it as much. It just, at the end of the day, it's their choice. You can't make up their mind for them.
Yeah, and we don't want to talk about COVID and the pandemic all
Yeah.
on this podcast. We just want to keep it away from this environment because it stresses both of us out, honestly. We have really strong opinions about what people are doing and how they should be doing stuff. But we want to bring change, and the way we can do it the best is by changing all of your moods, by bringing people onto this podcast who can help you, who can help us, and who can tell us that it's time to change our mental health, it's time to work on it, and it's time to shape it into a better sort of thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what we're going to discuss. So psychological temperaments also deal with a lot, just apart from the medical side of it, they deal with a lot of stigmas.
Especially since now we've decided that, we want to make this more of an educational and important platform than something that's for like, entertainment or gossip or whatever. Like that was fun, but we want to build something out of this. So
it's going to be personal. It's still going to be personal.
It's still going to be personal. It's just not going to be like as, it's less gossip based. Now it's just going to be like more important issues that we care about. I feel like if we have a lot more representation in media as well, so that's inclusive of our podcast, that would actually like help bring awareness and make people feel more included and just open up the community more.
Yeah, so we're just gonna have a few segments about like mental health and like what we're personally going through as well, so that we can really interact with you guys.
I mean, obviously the season's more centered around mental health. We'll be having like segments about us. Let us know if you guys want any book reviews, because we've started reading a lot again. For me at least, like 10th grade was like I barely had time to read. Like now, first week of summer break, I've read like 4 books and I just want to keep going. So just let us know if you want like any book reviews. We'll do that too. Yeah, we're really excited for season 2. We have lots of cool guests coming on. Just let us know. We'll do some Q&A sometimes too, like from you guys. Like if you want to know anything specific from the guests, like we can put it up on our Instagram. Go check that out. It's Unwind Podcast. Yeah, just let us know. Thank you for supporting us in season 1. We hope you enjoy season 2 just as much as we're enjoying making it.
And we hope you guys stay tuned on Instagram, because we'll be having a lot of content being up there. We'll have a lot of reels, IGTVs, all of that up there. So keep contact and stay sane.
Thank you guys so much. Bye.
Thank you so much. See you later.